Welcome to the Ask Patty June 2018 webinar. I am very excited to introduce Scott Gregory, who is the Chief Creative Officer of Mad Av Group. He talks with his clients and team about branding, content creation, and customer experience. He often focuses on storytelling, using humor, and his Who Cares concept, which is an effort to make that marketing content is delivering value to the audience. He has specialized in creating telephone content for 25 years, and his work has earned him more than 120 awards for creative excellence. I'm so pleased to welcome Scott Gregory. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Jody. Appreciate that. And thanks, Kaylee, and everybody else at Ask Patty. It's been a wonderful process to this point, so thank you for having us, and thank you everyone for joining me today. I appreciate it. As Jody mentioned, I am the Chief Creative Officer of Mad Av Group, which is a family of marketing agencies, and we're all under one roof, but we each have our own unique specialty. And one of the agencies under the Mad Av Group umbrella is called BusinessVoice, and it is one of the world's leading caller experience marketing agencies. And most of what I'm going to talk about today relates to the work we do at BusinessVoice. But if you have, of course, any type of marketing need, we can certainly address that at a later time. Today's topic is turning callers into customers, the value of creating great telephone experiences. You might be asking right away, what's in this for me? What does providing a consistently great telephone experience do for my business? Well, let me ask you this. How many times have you called a store and the employee who answers the phone clearly has no interest in being there, and certainly no interest in you as a customer? When you commit to creating great caller experiences, you set a higher standard from the very beginning. You lay the foundation for long customer relationships. And you may even be able to eliminate some other problems and stresses that you have, like keeping traffic coming in or spending too much money on advertising. With great caller experiences, you can convince more price shoppers to commit to you right away. You're going to build a solid reputation for being the kind of shop that takes good care of people. You're going to encourage positive word of mouth, the most trusted type of advertising, after all. And you're going to build equity. So if you do drop the ball, if you do screw up down the road, your customers are much more likely to be forgiving once and two and maybe three times. So what does the caller experience include? There are 5 components that we're going to talk about today. You may have others that you can think of, but we'll focus on these 5 today. And it's very important to be attentive and consistently customer-focused at each of these points so you can produce sort of a cumulative effect that your callers are really going to notice. The first one, of course, is the greeting. Now, this could be a live employee greeting your customer, having a live interaction, or some kind of automated software, hardware application, IVR, automated attendant, that sort of thing. The next, on-hold marketing, what your callers hear when you place them on hold. This is such a valuable tool when it's done well. It allows you to very quickly show that you value your caller's time and that you're committed to giving them good information that they can apply toward their buying decision and their car care needs. Next is the interaction between your employee and the customer, and that's the part that probably requires the most ongoing training and effort, and what we'll talk about today. Next, this component of the closing is certainly part of that live interaction in number 3 there, but I think it's so important that I like to kind of mention it separately. And what I mean by closing is it's that sincere thank you at the end of the transaction. It's the we appreciate your business. It's the look in the eye, the shake of the hand. It's that genuine thankfulness and affection for the customer. And finally, follow-up calls. These can come in several forms, including calling the customer later that day to let her know her car is ready. Maybe it's a call the next day to make sure everything is still working well for her, to check up on that experience that she had. You might even call 3 months down the road to remind that customer that she's due for another oil change or that radiator flush you recommended. So without the benefit of visual cues that we don't have with a phone call, like a like a smile or a handshake or that eye contact that's so important. How do you build a quick connection with callers? A few basic ideas. Certainly start with a friendly greeting. And this is the key, delivering it sincerely, time after time after time. Not like you've already done it 45 times today. This is the first time this particular customer is going to hear your greeting from you today, and it needs to be warm, it needs to be intentional, and not rushed. Secondly, introduce yourself, and consider adding a title if it gives valuable information to the caller. So you might say, "Hi, this is Jim, ASE Master Technician," and right away that caller knows that they're dealing with a higher level of expertise, perhaps. Certainly don't rush the caller. You may have an on-site customer, you may have a store full of them, but take care not to rush that caller because the caller doesn't know what's going on in your physical space. Listen carefully, especially with female customers. Don't try to sound like you're jumping in, trying to interrupt her like you know all the answers, that you assume what she wants or what her car needs. Nobody's expecting an instant diagnosis or an instant estimate, which leads to the next one, asking intelligent questions. When you can ask very smart questions, you show not only do you get the information you need, but you can show that customer that you know what to ask, that you know your way around the car. And finally, practice. If you have a new employee, somebody who's newer to answering phones, whether it's in a sales application or just basic manners and that sort of thing, go ahead and role play with that person and take your cell phone and record those exercises so they can hear themselves on the phone. And I would suggest even throwing your employees at that new hire. Give that new hire different moods of customers and scenarios and personalities for them to deal with so they get more comfortable with the process of talking and handling things on the phone. So it's smooth and you feel very comfortable and they feel comfortable. People do want a better experience. And more than ever, they're willing to pay for that better experience. A quick check online shows you some headlines here. This particular one from American Express. Good service is good business. American consumers willing to spend more with companies that get service right. This one from marketingcharts.com. 3 in 4 people say customer experience is a competitive differentiator. And from Inc.com, 10 reasons customers will pay more. And here are 2 of those reasons right now. Your customer service is friendlier. Companies underestimate the anger and even hatred that buyers feel when they experience horrible customer service. By contrast, customers will pay more when they know their problems are handled quickly and cheerfully. And another item on that list, the customer likes you personally. This is something we say in our shop all the time. Customers are human beings. Sometimes we forget that. And humans would rather do business with their friends, people they like, people they align with, they agree with. That's one good reason that developing rapport is so crucial in customer relationships. It provides a buffer that keeps the competition at bay. The products you sell, whether it's a tire or a battery or a muffler, they are not exclusive to your shop. So consumers can buy those products anywhere from your competitors just as easily as from you. So which factor that you can control will give you an edge with women customers over your competitors? Which factor is going to keep those customers coming back and telling others about your shop? It's the experience that you and your team provide. It's the way you leave customers feeling, especially for women. When you can help your female customers to feel safe and comfortable and welcomed, valued, cared for, listened to, heard, you're going to take an important step toward earning not only their immediate business, but their long-term loyalty and certainly their positive word of mouth. What women say. I conducted a very quick survey. Didn't have a whole lot of time to do this, so it's a small sample, but I asked women through a paper survey some questions specifically about the caller experience with auto service and tire dealers. 15 of the 20 respondents said it's very important that the employee on the phone be friendly and polite. The other 5 said it's somewhat important. So it's certainly right up there in importance for all 20 of those folks. 16 out of 20 said an excellent caller experience would absolutely increase the likelihood that they'd visit the service center again. 4 respondents said it would probably increase their chances of visiting again. Again, all 20 respondents very positive about that. 14 of the 20 respondents said that an excellent caller experience would increase the likelihood that they'd recommend the shop to a friend. 5 respondents said it probably would increase their likelihood of recommending the shop, and 1 said it would not. And then 10 of the 20 respondents said an excellent caller experience would absolutely increase the likelihood that they'd comment positively about the shop via social media, whether that's Facebook or a dedicated review site like Yelp. 4 said they probably would, 5 said that they're not sure they would, and 1 said they would not. These last 2, where people have to recommend the shop, whether it's with a phone call or in the conversation, or they have to go on and online and make a mention of it, that takes an effort. So we should understand that doing that, even the most enthusiastic customer may not always do that. But I think still 10 and 14 people saying yes, they would make an effort to do that, those are great numbers. So it shows you the value and the importance of a terrific caller experience. If you've got a lot to think about, you yourself, you're probably willing to pay more for someone to kind of make your problems go away in a reliable way. And your customers feel the same way. They're going to pay not only for someone to take care of their needs, like changing their oil or fixing a flat, but many are going to pay more for care that's above and beyond. And beyond the caller experience, that higher level of care might mean something like a fully stocked work area in your waiting room. Or it might mean a nice selection of good quality coffees, or maybe even having lunch brought in for certain customers. I think this is key. The growing desire for a better experience among consumers is a tremendous opportunity for you to get creative. This is a great opportunity. And also provide a level of care that's unique, maybe even branded, that's thoughtful and memorable, and that delivers true value to your customers, or at the very least delights them temporarily. And the value of high-level care is multiplied when it's unexpected, when it's a nice surprise. We work with a company called Grand Home Furnishings in Virginia and West Virginia and Tennessee. They've got a little over 20 stores. And since 1953, everyone who's walked into a Grand store has received a free glass bottle of Coca-Cola, one of those nice smaller bottles. It's unique, it's charming, and it's a gift that Grand gives to its customers to start a relationship or to further that relationship, or just to create, again, a pleasant surprise for people who walk into the stores. I've been on the receiving end of this thing, and in August in Tennessee, it's 90 degrees, and there's nothing like that. It's a wonderful little treat. And that bottle of Coke has become an important element in Grand's commitment to the customer experience. It's an important part of their brand that sets them apart from other stores in the area. And you can find meaningful ways just like that to welcome people into your shop. It doesn't have to be a physical item like a free drink. It can be in how you actively look after your customers' complete satisfaction, beginning with that very first phone call. So how do we get this done? Now, we have very little time here, and these are just a few things. This is an ongoing process, certainly, but here are just a few ideas that can help with this process. Answer the phone quickly. Ideally, no later than the second ring. If you're with another caller or an in-store customer, certainly you can ask the new caller if she'd mind holding for a moment. Just never say, please hold, and put her on hold. Always ask for permission when placing people on hold, because they may have needs that are very simply addressed and answered, and you don't want to subject them to 2 minutes of hold time if we really didn't need to do that. And then, of course, never leave the phone off the hook so your caller can hear other conversations. Take advantage of your on-hold marketing and let it inform and entertain the caller. Your on-hold content should really be customer-focused and give her a lot of reasons to stay on the line, number one, and to book an appointment with you when she returns, when you return to her call. Secondly, present yourself well. Very important to speak with purpose when talking with callers. Use a clear voice, friendly tone. Sit, stand up straight, smile. It makes a huge difference, makes your voice friendlier. And let the caller really hear your pride in yourself and your shop when you talk with her. Know your business. Know your team's strengths. The more you know those things, the easier it is to speak to your callers with confidence and in turn instill confidence in your callers about your business. For instance, you could stay up to date on your team's skills, their recent training, their certifications, maybe some success stories that they've had recently. So you can then share that information with callers who may only be interested at first in price. So, for instance, after you quote a brake job, you might say that 3 of our techs are ASE certified in brake repair, and they've got decades of experience, and they're all here today. So that's going to boost that confidence, that caller's confidence right away. If you have a good sense of how quickly your techs work, you can give callers specific estimates of turnaround time. So instead of, yeah, we can take care of that for you today, it might be, yeah, we can have you out the door by noon. And think how that little effort, that specificity, can help your callers plan their day. That could mean an awful lot by just saying, giving them a specific time. Mention any recent good news to your callers, especially price shoppers. Let them know that you just won the best auto repair shop in the City Magazine's readers poll, and that you're doing a lot of great work for people. They're very happy with the results that you deliver. Bottom line is your callers want help making buying decisions. So when you give them honest information, you're not bragging. You're providing evidence that makes the buying process easier for them. For most people, me included, finding the right shop is not a fun process. I don't want to be on the phone all morning looking for the right shop. So use that opportunity you have with that caller to prove that your shop is her best choice. Build rapport and trust. Trust established over time, right? But you can earn trust sooner when you show customers that you live by a few foundational principles. Never try to sell your customer a product or service she doesn't need. Never use high-pressure sales tactics to meet your short-term quota or goals. Remember, trust is a feeling, and if your customer doesn't feel that, if the customer is pressured, she's not going to invest her trust in you. If you don't know the answer to your customer's question, admit it. But then go find that answer. Never try to fake your way through an explanation, or never try to make your customer do the research that they depend on you for. And of course, always be honest, always. Honesty is the absolute bedrock of a long-term relationship, and without it, you have no real hope of earning any high level of trust that's necessary for your ultimate and maximum success. Ask questions to build confidence. It's not the answers you know, it's the questions you ask. When you ask thoughtful questions, you show your customers that you care enough to think about the details that other folks may not. For instance, maybe a customer says her car is stalling. Well, don't necessarily assume the problem is a clogged fuel filter right away and tell her that. You might ask the customer how often the car stalls, or does it happen while you're driving or only at stoplights, or have you switched gasoline recently, those sorts of things. Your questioning skills are going to build your customer's confidence in you. When she knows that you know what to ask, she'll sense that you know your way around a car. And smart people are never afraid to ask questions, and that's how they got so smart in the first place. And finally, promote your values. Think about this for a second. What are your values, your personal values, professional values? What do you believe in? What's your company's mission statement? And then ask, can your callers feel those values after talking to your staff on the phone? Do callers hang up knowing that you're a different kind of shop, a special kind of business, because you've communicated what's important to you through the way you talk with your callers and care for your callers? It's sometimes a little weird, but I urge you to take some time to think about those values and how you can reinforce them in your communication with customers. Good opportunity. Measurement. Success, of course, is not just the result of one type of effort or short-term efforts. It's the long haul. And we all know you need to do a lot of things well to earn and retain customers. But here are a few metrics you can consider when trying to see if your caller experience efforts are paying off. The most obvious one, of course, is tracking revenue, year over year, month over month, however you'd like to do it. You can track your number of incoming phone calls year over year. If the caller experience you're providing is improving and it's really stellar, it's likely going to show up as an increased number of phone calls. Improve caller feedback. What are you hearing when you call? What are you hearing on the street? What are you hearing in shop? On-hold coupons. Again, back to on-hold marketing. You can include on-hold specific offers that only appear on hold, and then track how many times those offers or those coupons are quote-unquote redeemed by callers asking about them. It might be a cheaper oil change on hold. Here's our gift to you for holding for a few minutes. It's our on-hold coupon. Redeem it when we come back to the line. And when more and more people start asking about that cheaper oil change or whatever the offer may be, you know that that particular offer or that concept is working. And then also look for increases in positive online reviews. This particular one from Harvard Business School talks about the ratings impact revenue rather. Improved Yelp ratings have been shown to have a direct effect on raising revenue, 5 to 9% increase according to the study. And could you use 9% more revenue? This is an important idea, and I hope everybody's on board with this already, but training is an ongoing commitment. It's a never-ending effort. I don't know if you know a gentleman by the name of Chris Mitzos. He's the vice president / owner of a company called Mountain View Tire and Auto Service in Southern California, 30 locations in the Los Angeles area and around that area. One of our favorite clients, been working for him for well over a decade, and we are their agency of record, and absolute great guys. And I heard Chris say one time that he thought that one day he and his team would be able to stop training their frontline employees because they had worked so long and hard on it. But after years of investing in that training, he realized that this is one of those aspects of owning a business that never ends. New hires need training. Older guys may need to be reminded about things. New competitors come into the market. They start offering a great experience, and you've got to up your game too. So weave that commitment to customer service excellence and training into your culture through that ongoing training, through your hiring priorities, employee recognition, maybe some incentives or rewards. When consistent excellence is your standard, your people will often rise to meet it. You're never going to find media rates as cost-effective as the investment you'll make in delivering a great caller experience. And if you're paying for media already, whether it's radio or TV or print, online, whatever, you can't afford not to deliver an outstanding caller experience. If you don't, not only might you lose a lifelong revenue stream every time the phone rings, you've also wasted the money you spent on the media to attract every caller that you don't close. When a lot of people need tires or automotive service, they're not real happy about it. The expense of that, the lost time, the inconvenience, they're without their car. So when your customer calls, she may already be in a negative frame of mind. But if you can use the ideas we've just touched on here to help customers feel good about the experience they're having on the phone with you, that you're trustworthy, that you're competent, that you're putting their interests first, you're going to improve their mood, and you're going to start to build rapport and trust, and again, lay that foundation for what hopefully is a long relationship. You set that tone. You determine if the customer has a great experience. You are the one who earns those loyal customers. I've suggested to some of our automotive clients to consider this philosophy. Your primary goal as a tire dealer or an automotive service provider is not to sell tires or brake work. Your job is to create such a friendly, welcoming environment that instills complete trust in your team's skills that callers commit to you right away. And they keep coming back because of how they feel cared for. And you have a tremendous opportunity to excel with women because so few shops deliver a consistently outstanding experience on the phone and in store that any efforts you make to deliver great customer care are going to stand out in the market. We've got a lot of different ways we can help you. If you're interested in talking about that in any way, please let me know. I've prepared a special dedicated page for you at businessvoice.com/ask-patty.webinar. And on that, you're going to find more information and some links and some videos and just a bunch of stuff that I hope is helpful for you. And again, if we can help in any way, please let us know. We love this stuff. We love the customer and the caller experience, and we love working with folks so they can focus on what they do best. We love partnering with people to get that job done. So thank you very much for your time. I'd love to answer any questions or address any thoughts you may have at this time.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Scott. A very
Thank you.
rich presentation. I love the survey. And by the way, Mountain View Tire and their 30 locations in Southern California have been an Ask Patty certified female-friendly client for many years. They are really an excellent organization with not only great leadership, great customer service, but it turns out that I have two Mountain View Tire stores right here in my neighborhood. So that's where I take my vehicle. So I can say firsthand they do an amazing job. So everyone, you are please, I encourage you to unmute and pose any questions you have of Scott. One of the reasons that I was very excited about having him come on this webinar is that they do on-hold marketing, which is really awesome. And he alluded to it, but didn't specifically talk about this product, which, by the way, Mountain View Tire utilizes if you want to call one of the shops and here. It's a great way to market coupons, and instead of just having music or dead air, but to have effective, even education, you can use that on-hold marketing to give them tips, which that I believe in educating women, and that's a great way to build trust. So if you're interested in working with Scott and his company, Mad Ave Group, please do get a hold of him. Do we have any questions?
If I could add something real quick while you're on the topic of on-hold marketing, Patty, or not Patty, Jody. Sorry, I'm looking at the word Patty here. I know it's kind of a subtle thing, but you alluded to the who cares attitude or approach in the intro. It's pretty simple, actually. That's a question I ask of just about all the content we write and that we create for any content, especially in the on-hold world. It's very easy to get in kind of this zone where you just write about yourself and you write about things that you think are important. And sometimes if you don't have another party to bounce that stuff off of when you're writing content, whether it's for an ad, a TV ad, an online thing, a blog post, whatever, it can get very easy to become internally focused. So what I can do and what we do is come in and say, hey, who cares? Who cares about what you've just written? And if you can't answer that question, then we've got to rework that a little bit. We've got to make sure we're focused on the audience. And by giving them stuff that they can apply, even though it may not affect you directly, it's about them. It's not about you at that point. So what we like to say is we're serving you by serving your callers first. And they'll get more out of that experience, and they'll value you because you're thinking about them. Maybe I'll try to add this to the page, but I wrote a blog post probably 6-8 months ago about the concept of giving rather than taking with your advertising. A lot of people spend a lot of money and a lot of time talking about themselves online when the audience probably, most likely, doesn't have an interest in what they're talking about. It's very easy to get again, self-focused by that, and it's understandable because you're spending money. But we got to find a way to address the needs and the wants of our audience when we're talking to them through advertising or marketing content. That's it.
Good. Do we have any questions from any of the attendees that you would like to pose to Scott while we have him here with us today? All right, then. Well, again, yes. Anyone there? Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, does anybody have any specific specific problems or issues with any aspect of the caller experience, whether it's on hold, whether it's call processing? Are people hanging up while they're on hold? Do they come back to the phone with several questions that you could have answered while on hold? That's another great way to use on-hold marketing. Does anybody track, are you able to track hang-ups, what we call caller abandonment, if you use an IVR or auto-attendant, that sort of thing? If you're having those sorts of issues, we can address those.
Scott, I think when we send out the recorded version, we will actually offer our clients to reach out to you to ask some of these questions. Apparently,
Sure.
People are busy getting back to selling to customers.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, so let's finish up, and then we'll give them a way to contact you to pose some of these. Those are all really good questions. So again, Scott, thank you so much. This was a really great webinar. And maybe in the future we can have you come back and do another webinar and get more in depth and talk about a new some of the other things that MadApp does for their clients. All right, very good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Appreciate it.